Okay, today we are jumping into a book that wasn't just a bestseller, it was a full-blown cultural earthquake. We're talking about Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. So what is it about this book that sparked such massive, passionate reactions all over the world? Let's get into it.
First, just look at the scale of this thing. We're talking over 10 million copies sold. That's not just a popular book, that's a global movement. It's clear that the message inside resonated with a huge number of people who were looking for something.
And the man behind it, Dr. Jordan Peterson, a clinical psychologist, became one of the most talked about figures on the planet. The New York Times even called him the most influential public intellectual in the Western world right now. I mean, that's a huge statement, and it shows just how much impact his ideas have had, for better or for worse.
And that really brings us to the core question of this whole explainer. What are these rules? How did they manage to create both this massive global following and a firestorm of controversy? To get the rules, you first have to understand the problem they're trying to solve.
Right, so to really get why these rules exist, we have to start with the problem Peterson says they're designed to fix. See, this isn't just a simple list of how-to tips. It's a response to what he sees as a very fundamental, very real part of being human. The book's entire foundation starts from a pretty intense place, the idea that life, at its core, involves suffering. It's guaranteed. Now, Peterson argues this isn't about being negative, it's about being realistic. It's a starting point you can find in almost every major world religion. And he says that only by facing this tough reality head-on can you even begin to build a meaningful life. So how do you navigate a world like that? Well, Peterson boils it down to two fundamental concepts: order and chaos. Think of order as everything you know: structure, safety, predictability. And chaos? That's the great unknown. It's where you find potential and creativity, but also danger and fear. And here's the key. Peterson says a good life isn't about hiding in order. It's about learning to walk that razor's edge right between the two. And this is where we get to one of the most famous, or maybe infamous, parts of the book, the lobster analogy. He points out that even lobsters, which have been around for hundreds of millions of years, have social hierarchies. Get this. When a lobster wins a fight for territory, its brain gets a shot of serotonin, and it stands up taller, more confident. The loser gets less, and it physically hunches over. His argument is that we humans have a similar, incredibly ancient calculator in our brains, where our posture and our brain chemistry are locked in this constant feedback loop. So, if life is this constant tightrope walk between order and chaos, how are you supposed to actually do it? Well, this leads us to Peterson's proposed solution, what he calls an antidote to chaos, a practical guide in the form of 12 specific rules for life. These rules are the real heart of the book. They're meant to make an individual stronger, more resilient, so they can face all that chaos and suffering we talked about. And to make his case, Peterson pulls from everywhere: clinical psychology, modern neuroscience, ancient myths, religious stories, you name it.
Now, there are 12 rules, but these three right here really give you the essence of the entire philosophy. It starts with rule number 1, stand up straight with your shoulders back. That's a direct link to the lobster idea. Use your body to kickstart that positive brain chemistry. Then you've got rule 6, set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. This is all about radical personal responsibility. Stop blaming everyone else and fix what you can actually control. And that leads right into rule 7, pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. Basically, aim for long-term purpose instead of just taking the easy way out. You can see how they build on each other, right? From your posture to your purpose.
But this path to meaning, well, it definitely didn't land the same way for everyone. The book created this huge cultural divide. It wasn't just something you read. It was something you either passionately defended or fiercely rejected. On one side, you have literally millions of readers who say this book changed their lives. You see these incredible testimonials about how it gave them a sense of purpose, helped them overcome depression, and gave them the tools to take control of their lives. But then, on the complete other side of the spectrum, you have some really sharp criticism. A lot of people see the advice as just, basic self-help dressed up in complicated language, and others go even further, arguing that the philosophy behind it is actually pretty problematic. And this table really lays out that whole debate. On the for side, supporters see it as a life-changing guide to meaning. The against side, they call it unoriginal self-help. Supporters believe it empowers people with personal responsibility. Critics say it just blames individuals for big systemic problems. One side loves the blend of science and myth, the other calls it pseudoscience with bad analogies. And finally, where many people found an antidote to meaninglessness, others argue it actually promotes some really regressive ideas about society.
It's a huge divide. So why does all of this matter? I mean, regardless of what you personally think about the book, its insane success tells us something really important about our culture right now, and that's this collective search for meaning.
You just can't deny it. The popularity of 12 Rules for Life shows that there's this deep, widespread hunger out there for structure, for moral guidance, for a sense of purpose in what can feel like a really chaotic world. The book's success is powerful proof of that search.
And that leaves us with a pretty big question to think about. Whether the answers come from a controversial bestseller, from ancient wisdom, or from modern science, that search for meaning is clearly a powerful force. So, in this incredibly complex world we live in, where should we be looking for our rules for life?